Goodbye, Lia. And then there was only one.
Hello and thank you once again for joining us on our adventure now. Having said goodbye to Lia and her crew, we left the beautiful island of Hestur behind and headed north. Along the way we passed Vestmanna and then we had to poke Altor's nose into the rapids in order to go through the gap and emerge on the north coast.
Hold on, Ashley. Hold on.
The Faroe Islands certainly has its fair share of extremes, and one of them is the tide, and it can rear up at a moment's notice and give you a shakedown. We hugged the shore as closely as we dared in order to keep out of the main flow, and as usual, Altor took us through.
That was a bit sketchy, wasn't it?
Yeah, very sketchy.
Just that last little pinch point there of the tide, and of course with a northerly flowing tide and a wind coming from the north was a little wind over tide moment. So there you are, the Faroe Islands can kick it up wherever it wants to.
Why do we struggle against the tide? It feels so wrong, and yet we abide. No, I choose life, this gift is delightful, and to squander the chance is frankly frightful. So I'll go with the flow and then feel free, because every river leads to the sea.
Try and keep the ship moving. The tide's going to be sweeping us around there soon, so if we can keep creeping along, we will. We've got someone sneaking up on us. I have a good mind to call him. What is your intention?
Vessel engaged in military operations. Underway engine heading 14 degrees.
Well, fly by, my friend, fly by.
As we sailed along the spectacular north coast of the Faroe Islands, the fickle breeze slowly died away. We dropped the sails, switched the engine on, and continued to enjoy the glorious sunshine as we cruised towards our last port of call for this Faroe Islands visit.
We're pretty happy to be heading back towards Fuglafjordur. A couple of years ago when we were headed this way, we'd been to our furthest point north. Then last year we stretched that out to Iceland and the Arctic Circle, and this year we want to go considerably further. But a little stop in Fuglafjordur, which is a place we love, will be fantastic while we wait for a weather window to get us across to Norway.
This sailing life provides a continuous blast on all of your senses. Brand new destinations are so exciting, but so is visiting familiar places along the way. And this one, to us, is special.
27th of May, we are sailing into Fuglafjord for the third time. I'm so excited, we love this town.
Fuglafjord is a great example of how the Faroese have a knack of putting the commercial side of life right next to nature. The two can sit side by side, and yet the beauty remains.
And there is Ronja and Eileen. So, how exciting. We have competent crew on the pontoon.
Hello.
Hello. Hi there.
Gorgeous day. Lovely bit of sunshine. Nice little fishing boat coming in. Altor's normal mooring. Last season, Asha spent the entire time following me around with her mobile phone, filming me filming. And apparently it was all for a good cause. There was going to be some special program made, but before she could do it, she chucked the phone in the sea. And she just started doing it again. Trees are a fairly rare thing in the Faroe Islands. I believe the sheep eat the young ones and the wind blows the rest away. But there are a few around Fuglafjord.
Whenever we return here, we seem to slip straight back into the flow of the place. I guess that even a couple of floating gypsies sometimes find a place on land that feels like home, and to us, Fuglafjord is one such place.
Mummy, you pushed her off there. What was that about? Have a look at this, Ashi. Another gorgeous day in Fuglafjord on the 2nd of June, which happens to be my 47th birthday. And I don't think there's anywhere else I'd rather be right now than here. What a fantastic place to celebrate a birthday. And Ash has bought me some whiskey, so I'll do my best to remember the day. Filming the birthday boy there. It's all about me there on my birthday. It's fantastic, all this whiskey. Whiskey! Drink!
It's a cool shop. I love it.
Have you chosen a hat yet?
I think this one.
Very nice.
This cool little shop is run for the community, by the community. Locals provide the stock, and each item has a label. If you go into the shop, you like an item and you buy it, the person who made it gets the proceeds. And this kind of arrangement makes me proud to be a human.
Once again I find myself saying the same thing to the camera I've said before, but if it's genuine and it's still relevant, I'm going to say it again. Here we are the night before we leave Fuglafjord, our favourite place in the Faroe Islands. We are heading off to Norway, which is very, very exciting, but there's always a sadness and a heavy heart for the pair of us when we leave this beautiful place behind us. Bye.
Bye.
Well, it's a pretty fine morning to be leaving, heading to sea, waving goodbye to Eileen. Look at this place.
It's always so emotional to leave Fuglafjord and wave Eileen goodbye.
Mother Nature never stops surprising us. Just when you think you've seen a place in all of its glory, a morning like this pops up and blows your mind all over again.
On the bow of Altor, as we leave these fine shores, heading for Norway, I'm having a little bit of a thought. Just over 5 years ago I quit my job, which was really for 6 months to sail around the UK before returning to the office and back to a life of insurance, which treated me well, but 5 years later I'm not in the office. I'm here living the dream, and I'm just thinking that all the sense and sensibilities that say you must stay and earn money and all that sort of stuff, well, I know we need money, but you know what, we also need to live our lives, and right now I feel completely alive.
Once again, we find ourselves leaving these beautiful shores behind, along with another piece of our heart. But the deal is sound, because she gives far more than she takes.
We are about 19 hours into the passage from Faroe Islands to Norway. The wind is now picking up, so the sails are nicely filled in. None of this collapsing and panting and banging, which is great, because soon it's my turn to have a sleep. So maybe this time I will actually sleep, because my first break was without any sleeping whatsoever. Mark is now having his rest, but he will come up in about half an hour and we're gonna swap. And it's pretty cool, this boat life, because I was born in eastern Poland with no lakes, no sailing. My family wasn't sailing, still is not. I can't even convince them to come over and join us for a little bit. But I love this life, it's fantastic. And I'm really happy that it materialized for me. Happy days.
0808. What day is it? Saturday? Saturday, no school today. 150 miles north-northeast of the Faroe Islands. We've been waiting for the wind to go a bit more west-northwest, and finally it has. So we're actually aiming at our target now, in 18 to 20 knots of breeze with pretty heavily reefed set of sails, but we're cruising and we're comfy, and I'm about to go to bed again, so I'm packing. Captain Krasusko will be left on the helm.
Passage making is a demanding job, but for such occasions we have a special cabinet full of chocolate.
Ah, look, someone's giving sweets to yours truly. Thank you. I'm going to be really piggish. I'm going to have that one and that one, okay, which is a Polish Kit Kat and a Polish peanut kind of wafery bar thing. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's 2:15 a.m. I've read some time ago that watching sunrise cures depression. Now I believe it, because the view of sunrise at sea is especially spectacular.
It's Sunday night, the third night at sea, and we've had a funny day today. The sea is very confused around these parts. The wind dropped down to under 10 knots. We had to wake Perkins up, and we were motoring for 8 hours, and now the breeze has come back to 15 to 20 knots. We've just got the jib out because we took the main down earlier when it was just banging about, and rather than turn round into the swell and the wind and wrestle the main up, we've just rolled the jib out.
The forecasted weather window for this trip looked perfect, but as we know, they don't always get it right. You should always expect a little leeway here and there, but we weren't expecting a gale.
Well, we're being put to a bit of a test here. Altor is doing very, very well. Probably like to get some more jibbing, but it's a bit too wild to be doing any of that. We're just sort of hunkering down with regular 34s, 35s. We've seen 37 knots. Pretty good gale blowing. Well, it's not a constant gale, but it's certainly a gale in the gusts. I'm really hoping the sea state has started to flatten out a little bit here. I was worried it would go the other way. We're not really making our course as well as I'd like to, but this wind is meant to go around a bit more from the southwest to the west, which will help us. We're 200 miles away, so we've got time to make it up. But for now we've got to hunker down and enjoy this, apparently. There's some big waves rolling through. Sometimes they pick Altor up and lean her well over, but Altor knows how to deal with a big rolling boat. Sorry about all the filming inside, but I'm not going out there. It's raining hard, blowing hard, and the waves are a-rocking. Doing good. So how would I sum up how I'm feeling? Pensive, confident in Altor, but looking forward to all this going away and it just being a story to tell on this video. The sea is yeah, pretty big. There's some big boisterous waves that come rolling on through. We're seeing regular gusts at 37, 38. Biggest gust we've had is 45, I think. I'll check on the instrument in a moment. Yeah, 45.8. The wind has gone a bit more aft, which is good, but the sea state has kicked up. It's really not very pleasant at all. This is another one of those moments where we've ventured out. No gale was forecast, but one is here. So we just have to make sure we keep looking around the boat, keep Altor as happy as possible, and let her look after us. Well, we're going proper extreme food now. We've got this summit ready to eat. Open, pour boiling water in, and you're away. And Ed gave us 2 of these to sample, and what better time to sample than a gale in the Norwegian Sea.
It's like a normal meal, it's really good. Nice and spicy. I have chicken tikka with rice. And it's like normal food as if you cooked chicken tikka with rice.
Pretty cool, eh?
Yeah.
Very happy to say that the gale has now ceased. We've actually got the engine on because we are now dead downwind, and the sea is so confused here that the engine is helping us keep some directional stability.
Have to tumble in.
You tumble in. However you get the job done. Well done. The British ensign is flying once again in Norwegian waters. Four and a half days, 650 something miles at sea. It's a strange way to spend your time. All you see is the sea. It's wavy or wavier. And sometimes I wonder what the hell we're doing, and I certainly thought that when we were 300 miles from land with 35 to 40 knots blowing, and I was really questioning our motives there. I think we all like to travel and we all like finding somewhere new, but I tell you what, from my point of view, there is no better way than to travel on your own boat and turn up somewhere absolutely incredible. And we see these beautiful peaks rising up, snow-capped. It is a bit chilly. I'm trying to man up and pretend not to be cold, but sooner rather than later I'll be back in the cockpit enclosure, especially as it started raining. Let me tell you, this is a great life. I'm so grateful for it, and thank you to all of you who watch and for being part of this adventure. Well, that wind is a bit icy, but it would be with snow on the mountains. First port of Norway. Yes, it's cool, isn't it?
You'll never beat the sea, and nor should you even try, but we certainly thank her for allowing us to pass. We were so happy to be coming into Bodø after a fantastic but feisty trip from the Faroe Islands. The calm water in the harbour was very welcome indeed, and there really isn't anything quite like tying Altor to the dock everything becoming still and having a good night's sleep. Thank you very much for watching this episode of Adventure Now. We really hope you have enjoyed it, and if so, please join us next time when we start exploring Norway.
I'll have you, and you.
Go on. He doesn't have mean sauce with him. It's safe.
I'll have a pole and I can chuck that at them, spear them.
Yeah, I agree with you too. He's a prick.